Here we go again one more time. It's treasure map time, everyone's favorite time of the month. Is anyone else excited? I'm excited. Treasure map's here. Treasure map's here. I'm not excited. I hate this. I hated it. Yeah. So what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, treasure map KANJURO is about to arrive, and I'm very, very late to the party. I do apologize for the lateness of this video, but unfortunately, like, real life happens. I've been so busy with work. I've been so busy with social life. I haven't got enough time to, like, sit down and just record. Plus, this treasure map, kind of dookie. Like, honestly, the booster list sucks. Like, it's very reliant on these new characters. But in today's video, I have put together a bunch of teams for you guys that don't use the new batch, like Odin, Kinemon Denjiro, their rare recruits, or the treasure map boosters in Okiku and Izo, as well as utilizing Cat Viper and Dogstorm. I did have to include Sulong, Cat Viper, and Dogstorm, but we did talk about some, like, replacements and stuff like that, as well as trying to include as many accessible units for you guys from, like, New Year's. So, like, from, like, Whitebeard Roger and the Straw Hat Crew batch. I've included, like, Neko and Inu's batch, but, like I said, we speak about some replacements there, so hopefully it helps you guys out. And if it does, don't forget to belt the like button for me. If you're new, hit the big red subscribe button. 55% of you guys aren't subbed. Hit the subscribe button for me. It's good OPTC content, homies. Enjoy the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alright, so let's take a look at the treasure map planner. If you guys don't know what this is, link will be in the description. Go to check them out. Super helpful tool. Big ups to the guys for putting it together as always. And let's take a look at some accessible teams. So I have put together a bunch of teams that do include, or do not include, any of the new batch or the latest legends. So that means Odin, Kinemon Denjiro, the two new boosters of Cat, Viper, and Dogstorm, the treasure map rare recruits, as well as the new treasure map legend, Izo and Okiku. Now, I haven't included them as the perception of you own that unit. Now, I have included Cat, Viper, and Dogstorm, but we will talk about them and sort of discuss alternatives for those particular units if you guys don't have them. But they are available, obviously, in stuff like Legend tickets. They are obviously available on the latest banners and stuff like that. So if you guys got lucky enough to pull them, then they are here. I did leave out Carrot and Wonder, but like Carrot and Wonder, I will like show where I would put them if you have them as well. But they're also another really good option if you don't have something like Cat Viper or Dogstorm as well. But let's dive in. Let's take a look at the very first mini-boss. Let's take a look at X-Drake here. X-Drake, obviously the easiest of the mini-bosses. All characters get their cooldown, which is really, really nice. You need to remove 5 turns of Bind and 3 turns of Paralysis. Obviously, this will go down to 2 turns after Preemptive. And there's a really, really good character for this, and it's this Nami. This Nami's an absolute weapon. She removes 3 turns of Paralysis, as well as removing 3 turns of Bind, which means that she's the perfect unit for this particular stage. Besides that, you just build the rest of the team around it. You can use this Luffy as captain if you want to, but I like to run the Buggy strats. Now, as you guys know, Buggy dupes your drops. Then you can just basically fill the rest of the team out with stuff like side characters that do damage. You have Zoro for an Orb boost. He's really, really nice because he can actually wave clear stage 2 as well, which is really sweet. And then you've also got Luffy here to be your attack booster. If you guys have this Enel as well, you can get some color affinity, which is really, really nice. And then finally, we've got Clash Big Mom. Clash Big Mom's a free-to-play character, and if you hybrid her up with the Dreadnought Saber or the Navy ship, you can get a lot of damage on the boss, and eventually you can just replace her with any other color affinity booster, like the Frankie that's free-to-play as well. And with that, you should have a lot of damage output with this particular team, upwards of like level 30 and above. And if you guys are rocking free stamina, that's pretty much as far as you'll go. Moving on to Who's Who now. The preemptive, we get shooters, slashers, and free spirit characters. So if you click this button, it will basically filter all of those characters. We do need to get around block and badly and empty. Wow, words. Block, bad, and empty orbs. There's 8 turns of bind, so a lot of bind, but it'll go down to 5 after preemptive, and then 5 turns of special bind. So let's take a look at the team that I have here. I am rocking Kuzen as captain. Kuzen is a very good leader for Quick and Sai, and he's also not only having color affinity, but he's also our attack booster for the team, as well as rotating those nasty orbs into matching. So he'll change all orbs, including block orbs, into Quick and Sai, which as a captain, he'll also make matching. We have Rayleigh and Gaban here. Rayleigh and Gaban are on this particular team to remove the special bind here. If you guys don't have this Rayleigh and Gaban, if you click this reduce silence button here, you can take a look at some of the other characters. And as you guys will have a look here, besides like the newer characters, there is not a lot of really good options here. But Rayleigh and Gaban can be replaced by this particular Luffy Taro. You are looking for a free-to-play option. The Rayleigh and Gaban are actually a very good orb booster to strikers and slashers, which this whole team actually is as well. So if you need another option, you have this Luffy Taro. You could probably use something like Usopp or this Nami here and then bring some supports. This Law will do 4 turns as well. He's another free-to-play character. Or you also have this Brook. Now this Brook, I haven't included him because there is something I want to talk about with this particular Brook. He can pop up later in a previous fight, but if you're not, in a later fight, but if you're not using him, he's another option. But these two characters here, both free-to-play options for you guys. So if you guys need some other character that can be replaced by Rayleigh and Gaban, you have that option there for you guys as well. Taking a look at what we need for the rest of the fights, we need Bind, which is why the Musketeers are here. Now the Musketeers aren't actually boosted. They're literally just here for their Bind removal. They're not getting boosted under Kuzan, but that's okay. But they also do a color affinity boost to fighter and slasher characters as well, which means Rayleigh and Gaban are going to get a color affinity boost, as well as this Garb. Now, this Garb doesn't do anything for the team, besides the fact that he's a free-to-play character and he's a fighter. The last slot that you guys have on this particular team, you guys can fill out with whatever you guys like, really. Like, it's really up to you guys. If you want to put on something like a Wave Clearer, that's usually, like, the best option. You could easily bring in something like Smoothie and Oven here, just use their switch ability for some wave clearing shenanigans. Or if you don't care about wave clearing and you just want more points, you can easily just put any 1.25 booster here. So, I'm going to slap on Smoothie and Oven, just for the wave clearing shenanigans that you can do with them. It doesn't make it that much faster, but it makes it a little bit more brain dead. Obviously, if you have these characters here, like some of these characters are going to be very, very useful, and you can find a spot for them on the team. But ideally, because they're a 1.35 times booster, you want to try and include them over here in these two big boss fights. Moving on to Sasaki now. We have Dex, Quick, and Int characters getting their cooldowns. And then we need to get around 5 turns of attack down, 5 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of resilience. There is delay immunity. And there is a new debuff that if you go above a 3 times chain lock, you will get a 90% attack down. Now, the idea that they want you to use here is they want you to bring a character known as Perispero, the latest treasure map character. But with these accessible teams, you kind of want to bring Perispero on the later fights because he's a 1.4 times booster. If you have all the boosted units, use Chopper, use Perispero here. They are very, very good for this particular fight. But we are going in with the idea that we don't have the boosters, right? This is the whole point of the video, to help you guys out with building these teams. So, I'm actually using Wodger as my captain. And the big reason I'm using Wodger is because they're a striker and a slasher-based captain. Very, very powerful unit, obviously. But they also have access to the Jozu support here. Jozu removes 2 turns of attack down. If you compile that with the free-to-play Pedro, who removes 2 turns of attack down, and the free-to-play Franosuke, you can also remove 2 turns of attack down. So with that, with those 3 supports, you can actually get around 5 turns of attack down. And the reason that's an issue is because have a look at this. Have a look at this boosted list. Ready? You got Dogstorm, who's the new rare recruit. And then take a look at this. There's 2 characters that remove attack down. Of that color variation. Obviously, they want you to use the new boosted units here. They want you to use a Shuridoji. Because the Shuridoji gets like a full thing of cooldowns no matter what with the 7 turns. Anyway. But, obviously, as I keep rambling on here, like, we're going into this without, like, any of the new boosters, right? So, Shanks and Buggy, they're great because they remove the paralysis. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they remove 5 turns of paralysis because they have 4 turns with their special, as well as being an attack booster. But they also have the Sailor ability to remove 1 turn. This Brook is great because this Brook's actually going to give us end of turn damage, which means we can get around the resilience. We have an attack boost. With Zoro and Sanji, we actually have a base stat boost as well as a chain lock as well. And then we just have like Rhodey and BB here just purely for wave clearing shenanigans. You can replace the Rhodey and BB with like any unit that you guys like. Like that'll work absolutely fine. If you guys haven't summoned and we're going into the assumption that you don't have Cat Viper, Dogstorm, or you haven't done any summons since then, and you don't have the 3 Musketeers or Rhodey BB, Rhodey BB won't matter. You can just take off Rhodey BB on this particular team. But the Musketeers, you are going to have to find another character that can get around Bind. And for that, I'm pretty sure there is a really good free-to-play option in Gukimaru. So you could easily put Gukimaru on this team here and use something like the Whitey base support. That is definitely going to work as well. If you don't have the 3 Musketeers. The 3 Musketeers are just giving you color affinity as well, which is great. But, as I mentioned, if you don't have them, you can easily use Gukimaru. And then you can use something like the support of Whitey Bay. How do I get the Whitey Bay support to pop up here? It's not coming up because it's not actually a bind removing support, but you guys get the gist, right? Like, you can easily just use Whitey Bay there. Sweet. We're all on the same page. Beautiful. Alright, moving on to Black Maria now. Black Maria does a whole bunch of stuff. Black Maria's a little bit annoying, right? She has a preemptive that gives Driven, Slashers, and Free Spirit characters their cooldowns, which is really, really nice. And then she has 8 turns of Despair, which should go down to 5 with preemptives. There is 3 turns of an attack buff and or buff by 1.1, and 99 turns of immunity. Now, there is a random color slot change, so it's any of the colors, Strength, Dex, Int, or Psi. And then you can only hit with 2 goods, like to break the orb barrier. And the recommended character for this is actually Don Quixote, Don Flamingo, the 6+. So if you don't have the 6+ Dofi, damn. But, like, I mean, it's not the end of the world if you don't. The upside to using Dofi is Dofi will actually reduce the chance of landing on strength orbs. And then with his captain ability, you get Dex and Quick Beneficial, and his special makes Psi and Int. To get around the attack buff and the orb buff, this Kaido is also recommended. But because he rotates your orbs into strength, he's a 2.25 times attack boost as well. But because he rotates all your orbs into strength, you are going to get that interrupt. Now, the idea here is he can actually remove the Despair by 3 turns, as well as removing all positive buffs. So he not removes 3 turns of the Despair, but he removes that annoying like orb buff and attack buff. And then you can remove the rest of the Despair with the Orochi's Honorable Banshu. And then you have Blackbeard here to actually just give yourself, like, more damage, because you can set the defense to 0, you get a conditional boost, and it all works really hunky-dory. With Dofi's ability live, like, you'll have every orb matching anyway, and, like, hypothetically, you shouldn't get strength orbs. And then on the revive, Black Maria will actually revive after she dies at 100% HP, and give you normal attacks only. I don't know why they gave normal attacks only. Like, this would just be a perfect time to just give the overkill damage its justice. But, unfortunately, it is what it is. So, double Dofi will work great. You have Blackbeard, and then you have an extra slot here. If you guys want to bring something like wave shits, clearing shenanigans, you absolutely can. Otherwise, you can just basically put any other driven character on the team. You've got stuff like Croc for more damage, like, if you need it, and you're going absolutely crazy. You can use any of these characters literally just for more points. Like, any of these characters will work absolutely fine. Like, you could even put something that you're not even using the special of. Like, Jack would be great. You could use Koala. Like, you can't use this Kaido, but, like, you guys get what I'm saying. Like, you could easily just put Queen there. Like, any character that's, like, just gonna do something is gonna do something, right? But, nevertheless, it actually doesn't matter. If it was me, if you want to rank high, and you want to be doing some, like good stuff, like, moving forward, I would, like, just bring someone that can give you, like, wave clearing shenanigans. Like, even, like, using something like this Kamazo. Like, Kamazo can just wave clear on stage 2, and you can just move on from there. Alright, moving on to the boss fights now. The big old boss fights. Strength, Dex, and Quick. Wait, Strength, Quick, and Psi characters get their cooldowns when we are looking at Page 1 and Ulti. And obviously, against Page 1 and Ulti, things get a little bit tricky because there is Stage 2 and there are Stage 3 shenanigans. Now, as you can see, like, Page 1 and Ulti, they do a bunch of stuff. There is Attack Down, which is always fun. 5 turns, and 5 turns of paralysis on Stage 2. Excelente. On Stage 3, though, against Page 1 and Ulti, there's 8 turns of paralysis, badly matching orbs, threshold by 5 turns, and then immune to delay. And then you can't use an orb boost, which is a little bit annoying. So the idea here is they want you to obviously use the Izo and Okiku to get around the paralysis. So we just need to look at getting around the attack down on Stage 2. And this is where this Chopper comes into play. Chopper's not getting boosted under Izo and Okiku, but the Chopper can actually not only remove paralysis, but he also removes attack down. The paralysis doesn't matter, obviously, but the attack down definitely does. You get color affinity as well, but, like, I don't know if that's actually going to do anything, because I don't actually know what the color of Stage 2 is. That's Black Maria. Once we move on to the final stage, though, against Ulti in Page 1, we don't have to worry about the paralysis thanks to Iso and Okiku. So bring a friend captain. You're going to get a ton more points as well. So we're going to look at Threshold and getting around badly matching orbs without bringing in Orb Booster. So for this particular fight, we do want to bring Perispero. Perispero is great because he's a chain locker for 3 turns. and he's just giving us a lot of extra points. To get around the threshold, I actually have Dogstorm. Now, if you don't have Dogstorm, but you have Cat Viper, you can use Cat Viper. Like, the whole point of running Dogstorm and Cat Viper is to get around the threshold. Dogstorm will work better, so if you have one or the other, bring Dogstorm, because Dogstorm can be popped on stage 2, and then you can actually carry in the orb buff into stage 3. If you don't have Dogstorm, though, don't stress. Just run Cat Viper, because Cat Viper is going to have that same ability to get through the defensive effects. But if you have neither of them, and you have something like Carrot Wonder, shout out to my boy Kruby, you can actually use the Carrot Wonder special to make yourself go through this threshold. The problem is, you can't use an orb buff, so you can have to either cop like using that special first and then worrying about it, or bringing a support that can actually give you an orb buff like on the final stage. So you'd have to find a way to sort of implement that, but it definitely can work. Ideally, Dogstorm is going to be the best option. He will boost the entire team, like actually boost the entire team, and then Iso and Kiku will actually boost these middle 2 units. The reason that we have our quick units in the middle row is because on the final stage it is a strength unit, and with Iso and Kiku's super typing, we can actually give ourselves the middle row Wano slots, which is going to be those 2 units. You're going to have a monstrous, chain lock, thanks to their special on turn 2 as well. So you can always do that, which is really, really nice. And then you don't have to worry about the badly matching orbs, because these 2 characters are going to have Wano slots and hit very hard. Hyoroguro is actually going to give us a, a base stat boost as well. Unfortunately, it is not going to be for him, now that I'm looking at it, which sucks. But, I mean, it's something, I guess. I guess it's something. Another option you guys can do here as well is you can actually chuck on, like, Ace or Zoro for color affinity. That's another option as well. Or with this last spot here, you can easily put on more damage with, like, color affinity or something like that as well. You could use something like Croc if you want to for, getting a chain locking shenanigans. We don't have an attack booster on this team as well, so finding a way to get an attack boost on this team will work. You could even like run something like Bond Clay. Bond Clay is great because you can actually use the support of no, you can't. That doesn't work. Never mind. Bond Clay is great because he can just be anything you want him to be, and he's a base stat booster. But as I mentioned, like, you just want to try and get some more damage here, however you possibly can. Whether that's like Carrot Wanda is actually really good here because you can just switch with Carrot Wanda, and then you get their attack, like an attack boost on them too. So there's also that option for you guys as well. Onto the final fight against KANJURO now. KANJURO obviously gives Slashes, Free Spirit, and Shooter characters their cooldowns, and you can bring anything you like. Just like you guys saw in the final boss, we are using like Cat Viper for our captain, and the big reason we're doing that is because there is damage reduction on stage 4. There's also chain attack down, so if you're below a 2.5 times chain lock, you will get 90% attack down, and then there's 4 turns of defense up. So with Cat Viper as captain, Cat Viper works great. You can also use Dogstorm. You can also use Carrot and Wanda is another option for you guys, just to use their special on that particular stage to get through that damage reduction. But with Cat Viper and Dogstorm, they actually have access to the Raizo support, and the Raizo support is really, really good because it can get around Special Bind. There is 6 turns of Special Bind on the final stage. 6 turns is a lot. You also get 3 turns of 1.1 times Chain Lock, but you can actually get around that as long as you are utilizing something like Perispero. Perispero is really, really good. Perispero should get his cooldowns as well because you are running Cat Viper as your captain. Cat Viper gives a lot of cooldowns, which is really, really nice. But ideally, you want to pop his special. He's also getting a bunch of cooldowns because he's boosted. You want to pop his special on turn 3, so then that way you can get around... Sorry, on turn 2, sorry, so you can get around this. That's the big upside to ringing Perispero. Finally, we just basically have to just get around the special binds, and we are pretty much hunky-dory from there. And the big characters that we have here to get around that is the Sweet Generals on Perispero, the Honor with Shubu, the Orochi Ninja people, and Raizo, giving us 6 turns. Now, I did mention earlier there is another really good character that you can use, which is actually this Brook. This Brook with double special activation removes 6 turns of special bind. So, you can easily use that to get around all those nasty shenanigans. Once again, we have Izo and Okiku as our captains. They're going to give us a chain lock. Unfortunately, we don't have 5 slashes, so we don't get the Wano orbs on the top there, but like that's not that big of an issue for us. We just need to get around the defense up, which this Dogstorm and Musketeer character can do really, really well. If you guys don't have the Dogstorm and Musketeer character, as I mentioned, it is going to be a little bit challenging to get around the defense up, but it is only 4 turns of defense up, so you could use something like this, what's her name, Tashigi, for like a better free-to-play version, or better free-to-play character if you guys are looking for something there. So that's a really, really easy replacement. And then besides this Brook, like, you guys can just slap on any of these characters up here that you have to just give you more points. Like, that is the end goal, right? With this team, like, you can either have an attack or an orb boost, depending on if you're using Cat, Viper, or Dogstorm. But again, like, if you have Carrot Wanda, you can always just bring Carrot and Wanda, right? Like, Carrot and Wanda are going to give themselves an attack boost. They give an orb boost with their, like with their special. They are very, very powerful. You have a chain lock. You could easily, like, put on, like, here, you could easily use something like Zoro as a color affinity booster on this team as well. And you have a lot of different options for the final fight. So it's not exactly the most fun treasure map, but those right there are the accessible teams. If you guys don't have Dogstorm for this particular fight, you are going to have to find a way to get around this threshold, as I mentioned. And unfortunately, it is 5 turns of a threshold. So what you'll have to do is, like, if you don't have, like, Carrot Wanda, if you don't have Cat Viper or Dogstorm, you will basically have to use this Tashigi. Like, that's pretty much the only, like, downside to this treasure map, is finding a way to get around the damage reduction here, and getting around the threshold here. If you guys know of another way to get around threshold, like, please let me know in the comment section below, and I would love to have a discussion about it there. But hopefully these particular teams have helped you guys out in some particular way. Let's take a slide across now, and let's take a look at the teams that I'll be using for this particular treasure map. Alright, so the first fight is obviously against X-Drake, and as you guys saw in the sort of, like, more accessible teams, the same, like, the team remains the same for me. Like, I'm going to be rocking the same team. Using this Luffy is really, really nice, because you can actually pop his special on stage 2 to do the wave clearing shenanigans. And because he wave clears, he also will give a full board of Psy Orbs because of the Shanks support as well. So that's another really, really good option. And then you can pop the Zoro special on the final stage and get the Enel color affinity. And that's sort of the way I do it. Like I said, you can easily replace Big Mom with Frankie for more damage, but Buggy works absolutely great moving forward. The next team I have is another Buggy team. You guys are going to be seeing a nice tricky trend here. Because I have all the boosters, I am planning of using Buggy teams for the entire run. Like, that's the goal here. So, against Who's Who, we basically need to make sure that we're getting around blind and special blind, as well as empty, unfavorable, and block slots. And this is where a Shuridoji, the Kawamatsu, and the Raizu are very, very handy. Because I have a Shuridoji, because I have Kawamatsu, it works very, very nicely. Unfortunately, I don't have the Raizu, which means I do need another character to get around blind. And with that, I do have the character of Dogstorm and the Three Musketeers, so they're going to get around the blind for me, just like you guys saw in the prep video. But if you guys don't have this particular character, you can run any other blind remover there, so that should work absolutely hunky-dory. Rayleigh and Gaban are great. They remove the special blind, but you also have the option of Luffy. But this whole team is based around strikers and slashers, because Shanks and Buggy can actually have the chance of duping a drop. Moving on to the Sasaki team now, another Buggy team. Stump, you're going crazy. We are rocking, obviously, the Buggy Pirates. They are a 3x captain, as well as a 3.25, but they're also a chance of duping drops. You can see a trend here, right? We also have the support of Mihawk here. Mihawk can do end of turn damage on the final stage, because he is a slasher and an int character, and that'll basically get around the resilience that Sasaki puts up. If you guys don't have that, and you want to run something else, Perispero and Chopper, obviously being built for this fight, helps out a lot. To get around the paralysis and the attack down, we have Chopper, set the chain lock to 2.75 so we don't go above 3 with Perispero, and then getting around the resilience is easy with our boy Mihawk. We have wave clearance shenanigans with Zoro and Sanji for stage 2, and then Carrot and Wanda. Basically, the idea here is to switch with Carrot and Wanda and then just pop their special and win. Like, that should work absolutely fine. Don't see too many issues there, and hopefully we can do some pretty juicy drops. On to the final mini-boss against Black Maria. We're using the Buggy's Delivery, another character that has the chance of duping drops. You love to see it, but is a 3x captain to 30 costs or less, as well as 50 costs, and will reduce special charge by 1 turn. The characters that were recommended here are Kaido, as well as the Orochi's Orobuanshu, whatever that character is called. But the way that I'm doing this is we're obviously going to use Kaido to get around the, what's it called? The Despair, as well as the beneficial orb effects that get attack and orb effects. And then we have more Despair removal with this particular 100,000 damage, as well as the chain boost as well, which is really, really nice. Wait, no, sorry. That's going to be my wave clearer. The 100,000 is going to be my wave clearer, because this particular Buggy can also remove 2 turns of Blind, Despair, Paralysis, and Special Blind. So I actually have 4 turns of Despair removal there, 3 turns with Kaido, and we're pretty much hunky-dory. With the whole copping the orbs, we are basically just going to cop it. Like, it is what it is. But with Dofi, we can like make Sai and in orbs beneficial. Blackbeard's great because Blackbeard's actually got the cost of 50, which means that he's getting boosted. Lafitte support's also another Despair removal, so you're good there. And with that, with Blackbeard and the special of Kaido, we should have enough damage to take him out with the orb boost of Buggy as well. So this team is a bit sketch, but like we'll definitely see how it goes, and check out the playthrough video if you guys are being a bit skeptical on it. The final 2 teams obviously are just the boosted teams. We have the 3 recommended characters: Cat Viper, Dogstorm, and Okiku, and what's his name? Iso. And then we're basically just using Odin and Kinemon Dendro as our other 2 units. And then for the Intrusion, I'm basically using the same thing, except I'm using Perispero as the Intrusion, because I can use the Sweet Generals to get around Special Binds. And the big reason I want to do that is so I don't have to pop both the Cat Viper and the Dogstorm specials. I just have to pop one. It's just going to make it a little bit quicker for me. That's basically the only reason. Obviously, I can't use an Orb boost on this particular fight. That's a big thing. So Kinemon Dendro are just here for their switchability. That's it. But as well as the Raizo support. So they're my teams, as well as some accessible teams. I hope it helps you guys out in the treasure map. Very, very annoying treasure map. The booster list definitely sucks, but look, it is what it is. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's